Okay, that was probably the most unconventional way to start a video for a booktube channel, but it's too late. My name is Cierra, and I am wanting to join the booktube community. So I'm just gonna do the newbie tag and just go over a few of the questions that they have. And so the first question is, why did you start this channel? So I love books, I love reading, always loved reading. And I just feel like I just want to be part of the community a little bit more, and in the way that I haven't been before. I've always read, but I haven't been part of like the actual community of knowing what books are being released, new authors to look out for, any book drama that's going on with authors, or how anything's going on in social media. I don't know any of that. I don't stay up on it. So I wanted to do it a little bit more. The next question is, what are some fun, unique things you can bring to YouTube? So for me, I think that would be interesting is the aspect that I'm a little bit more into witchcraft and my spirituality, and connecting that with my books and finding myself. So I think that'll be something that's a little bit more different, with having to, like, I would be reviewing or even like looking into more spiritual books too, and having discussion on how those books helped me in my spiritual journey, how it can help you with on your spiritual journey. If you're not on your spiritual journey, that's completely fine, but just using books, not only just a way of reading, but also of understanding myself and hopefully understanding yourself. Next question, what are you most excited for? I would say building a community and connecting with other people. I'm more of an introvert, and not a lot of the people that I know read. There are a few people who I know that read, but we don't read the same genre, or we don't really talk about books all that much. So I want to start the channel to connect more with other readers, especially black booktubers. I've seen before. I've seen a lot of new black booktubers joining the community, and I just thought I might as well join on in too, because I love seeing people like me love reading and just being so immersed in worlds that other people create, and even creating those stories for ourselves. Next question. Why do you love reading? I just always loved reading. I love being part of different worlds and different stories. It feels like jumping into someone else's mind and seeing how they created the world, and seeing what their thought process was with creating the story, creating certain characters, and creating their personalities. I feel like it's just a really creative way to see how other people have cultivated stories, how people have maybe thought about this idea about a particular book for years, or maybe it came to them like in a dream. Maybe it just came out of nowhere and they just decided to start writing it. But I just love seeing what people create, and how, even if it's taken years, how long they have been creating it, and how they have perfected it to the point where it can be condensed into an actual book, even though it's probably been through like 20 revisions, or 20 edits, but still the fact that it can be like bound, like having like an actual bound book created, like just being able to go back and see how they created their world is always very helpful. What book series got you into reading? So like most readers, I started off reading book series like Harry Potter. I read a series of Unfortunate Events. That's one of my favorite series. And one, I would say it might be a little bit obscure. I don't know if anyone has read it back then, if anyone's even heard of it, but Among the Hidden, fantastic series. I love it. I have the complete copy on my bookshelf over there. It's one of the best series to me by far that anyone could read, in my opinion. But some solo books that I really enjoyed growing up was like Bud Not Buddy, The Little Princess, and Esperanza Rising. Those were just like other books that really made it real for me, made me really enjoy reading, because I didn't actually start reading like at a typical age. So once I got going, that was it. The next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Out of all my favorite booktubers, the questions I would even ask them would just be like, how do you read so many books? Like, for years, the max I've always read is 18 books. And that was in the past 2 years, I would say. Even before then, when I was in college, I wasn't really reading because in school, I'm learning. I don't have time to read. Also, mental health, not very good. Kind of a struggle. So yeah, how do you read so many books? How do you get through so many books? Because last year I just made it to like making a reading goal and actually succeeding and reading 42 books when I had a goal of 40. That was the first time ever. But somehow I made it. It worked. I don't know how people who read like 20 books in the month of January. I didn't read any books in January. I'm just now getting to finishing books and reading them. And what was the other question? What was the other? How do you keep up? How do you keep up on new releases? How do you keep up with new authors coming out? Book drama. How do you keep up on that? Because I'm trying now, and even then I feel like I'm already behind. Just by now putting myself more into the book community than ever, and I'm still behind. What challenges will be the hardest with Booktube? I'll say scheduling. I have a full-time job and I'll be starting grad school in May. So I think that'll probably be like the biggest struggle, is just like scheduling and just keeping up with, I would say, some trends. I'm not a trendy person. I don't really follow trends. So this will actually put me out of my comfort zone and trying to keep up with book trends. I feel like I can do that. I feel like I can do book trends. But when it comes to like social media as a whole, I can't do that. I can't keep up with like trends on all of social media. It's just not me. It's not in my interest. When did you start reading? So like I said, I started reading late. I'm not sure what age. But it was later than the typical age that kids start reading. But once I was able to navigate a story, I started reading chapter books, I think as early as like 3rd or 4th grade. I remember in 4th grade, that's when I really was getting to the Harry Potter series, and that's when I read The Little Princess, actually. The Little Princess and A Series of Unfortunate Events, because in our school, in my elementary school, we actually had, I forgot the name of how they did it, but it was like our book competition type of thing. I guess you could call it like a Super Bowl for the school. So students were competing with each other for a number of points to get at the end of the year, and then we become like the #1 reader or whatever. And so I was always reading, but you always had to take a quiz after you read the book. I guess some teachers wanted to see if you were actually able to remember and comprehend the story, as well as getting points towards it. So you had to take the quiz on the computer in the library after you read the book. And so once you got like a certain score, I think you had to get like 10 out of 10 or something, they gave us stars, or they gave us points somehow, but they were able to keep track of how many books students were reading and their scores on those for the course of the whole school year. And I ended up in 2nd place. I'm still mad, whatever. But yeah, once I just started reading, I didn't know how to stop. I still don't know how to stop, but where do you read? I read in my room. I read at work. I read in the living room. Pretty much anywhere that I can actually listen and actually like comprehend the story. I can't read in a car. That's one thing I cannot do. It's too much. My head starts to hurt, and then the words get jumbled, and then I get mad. So I just mostly just read where I can actually sit down and just relax. Next question. what kind of books do you read? I read a lot of YA, romance, smut, thriller, suspense, and I just started reading fantasy. But for me, for fantasy, my concept of fantasy that I enjoy does not involve any fairies, any vampires, any werewolves. I read Twilight, and that was the last time I will ever read a book with vampires in it. I'm not reading books with fairies in it. It's not my thing. I tried it with Spindlefire. Not my taste. My taste is more of Beast of Prey. I just finished Beast of War literally like an hour ago. Fantastic. Love this. Love the trilogy. Amazing. I want more. But that's kind of more of the fantasy that I like. So more magic based, maybe other creatures, mythology kind of based. Those are kind of books that I enjoy more in fantasy. Yeah, but that's it for me. I can't wait to just see where this journey goes on Booktube and just navigating the space on YouTube in general. You can follow me at Instagram, Threads, and Pinterest at Magic Within. I also have a blog too. I just started it back in December. So I'll actually add that link in the description of, you can check out my posts and see if you like anything. But yeah, that's me. Thanks.